Talk with Gator and DT.
I forgot it, didn't you?
I did. Can you believe 9 months?
You get old, you forget a lot of things.
I tell you, it's been a long time since we've been on the air, and we've just kind of
been a long time, but it's gone fast.
It has gone fast.
They said when you get older and retire that the days go by quicker, but I can't remember what day it is most of the time.
Today is August the 10th. Can you believe that? It's almost the beginning of school, and I think the kids have another few days. Wednesday's the first day of school here in Caldwell County. A lot of changes have gone on here in the community. We've got a new leader of our school system.
Right. Sure do.
A former teammate of both mine and yours.
Exactly.
Mr. Nate Hughes. And we want to welcome him to the community.
Sure do. I had no idea. We were in Florida when they were doing all this signing superintendents and interviewing and all that. And I called, I think it was Bruce McAllister, and just asked him who had they hired or whatever. And he said some assistant from E-Town. And so I got on the internet down there and looked up, and I said, was it a man or a woman? And he just said it was a man. And so I looked up, and they had a woman assistant and a man assistant. And the man assistant was Nate Huggins. And I said, surely not. If it's the same Nate we knew, I didn't know. And sure was. Of course, I couldn't believe it.
I forgot. I knew he was in the military. Of course, he was right in between us. Mm-hmm. And, I was a freshman in sophomore season. Of course, he was at the end of your tenure there at Western. And he was a good football player, played on state championship team at Elizabethtown in football and basketball, I believe. And, we're glad to have him here in the very sports-minded. And we've been able to talk to him on a few occasions, and we look forward to him running the school system.
You mentioned he was on the state basketball championship. I wonder if he was like you, he just shot three-pointers. You think he probably didn't run up and down the floor too much?
He might not. He had Chuck Rollins on that team. I remember. Okay. You remember Chuck Rollins?
Yeah, he started at Western when I was there.
He did, and of course we had several from the Elizabethtown area that played at Western back in the day.
Yeah, we did. Sure did. That was a big school. I mean, I remember the quarterback that Caswell was another friend of ours that went there, and was Ernie Lewis, and he went and played at UK.
That's right.
That was, and he really wasn't that big of a guy. He's short, but he evidently threw the ball.
And there was a quarterback that was supposed to go in with me named Mark Bradley.
I remember him.
And he went professional baseball.
Right.
He sure did with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He was a very good athlete.
Good athlete, and we're just glad to have him here, and we look forward. Football season's here, Dennis.
It sure is. Coming on tonight, as a matter of fact.
Tonight is our first scrimmage against the Butler County Bears out here at Tiger Stadium at 6 p.m., and we want to encourage everyone in the community to come out and watch the Tigers. We're excited about this season. Got a lot of people returning.
A whole lot of people, especially the seniors. My goodness, we went out. I went 2 or 3 times, and then I grabbed you the other day and went with me, and we sit out and watched them. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. We didn't get to see a lot of the defense side, but offensive, I think they're going to be pretty strong.
I believe they return most of their offense is intact, and of course under the leadership of Joby Jaggers at quarterback, and got some outstanding skill players.
Yeah, very much so.
Oliver Parker returns, and the Riley boys, and I think Coach Barnes might be by here to talk a little bit more about that. But,
yeah.
It's the makings of an exciting season, and I know everyone in the community is looking forward to it. It's just hard to believe it's here again.
I'll give a little shout-out to one of our old buddies, Sammy Newsom. I went out and watched him one day. I walked down on the field and saw his grandson, Travis.
Yes.
And I didn't know really who he we were gone before all those boys came through. But I tell you what, he's a tough nut. He's a hard-nosed kid.
They've got a lot of them out there. Bobby East's son,
yes.
Gabe East is back. And, a lot of our former players, kids are playing. Andy Davis has a defensive lineman that's a freshman this year that's going to probably see quite a bit of playing time. And,
it looked just like him.
It's just like him.
It looked like he and Mark.
Runs like him.
He and Mark together. They look just alike.
It's amazing as the years have gone by of some of our former players, and you see their kids, how much they mimic them. And, it's just glad to see that, we got those kids still here.
Had another big boy, too. I saw his granddaddy at the Black Patch the other night. Ed Costco's grandson. Is his name Ladd, I believe?
I believe that's right.
Last name?
That's Tara's son.
Yes. We had Tara in school.
Yes. Yeah.
She dealt with us, put up with us.
Right. Well, there's a lot to talk about. As I mentioned, we really just thrown this show together this morning to kick things off. And last weekend was a big weekend here in Princeton. We had Princeton Dotson Days, and we had the wiffle ball tournament out there at the Parkers. And I know you were able to attend both of them. I went to the wiffle ball portion of it for a little while. And tell us what you saw up there at Dotson Days.
Well, I saw a few of my buddies that I even played with back in the day. They're still kicking too. One of them was Billy Joe Groom, and I called Randy Durrell. He played with Billy Joe, and Billy Joe even started my senior year as a linebacker and some fullback. But he was in from Atlanta, and got to see him. He's a super nice guy. And then we went up to Janie went with me, and we even went up to Jeff Clayton's house, and Kathy Clayton. She used to cheer with Janie, so she got to see her. And but there was a lot of people. I tell you what, I know I won't get them all on, and the ones I don't, I apologize. But just to give a shout out to all the individuals that were working the basketball game. I tell you what, Paulette Gray, the Gray family, pretty much
Vic
took care of it. Vic
Doe
was there, and David. All three of them called every game. And I don't know how they
started early this year. They had to start at 9
o'clock.
Teams, yeah.
I don't see how they did it. They came over and sat down in between each game and kind of chuckled with me a little bit. But I know how they're feeling. But that's amazing that they can continue to do that and to keep things under control. People respect them. They played hard. All those teams that came in had them from Evansville. Big Antonio Harris was there from Evansville. Big member.
Oh yeah.
He hadn't slimmed down any. I saw him. He's a big boy, but he's a fine person. I tell you what. But they really worked that place. That's hard to believe how hard that. And there, by putting on a few things that we used to do, how hard that is just to get it together, much less to make it run smooth. But they had a lot of things set up for the kids. It was in the football camp they had. I went to it too. They had about 38 or 40 kids in the football camp, and Carl Copeland and
Jason Wilson,
T-Bone, Jason Wilson, and let's see who else.
Alan Wallington.
Cody McGregor and Alan Wallington ran most of it, right? And those kids, they had about 38 or 40. And even saw old Diane Thacker. She was up there, and she even has a youngster 9 years old herself. And she was shaking that head, thinking, "I don't know what I've done." But they live in Paducah. But she brought him down. He was a good-looking boy. And but Dickie Pettigrew, of course, Dickie and myself get along, and I've gone up to see he and Brown all those years, and they were there. Of course, that's where I saw Billy Joe, and then we went on and moved around, saw quite a few people. The only one I didn't get to see that I saw last year was Roger Hobson. I don't know where he was, but I didn't look too hard, I guess. I couldn't find him. But anyway, it was a great adventure up there. They put on a great show. I even went Thursday night to hear Walter Bumpus. He spoke. He's evidently doing real well for himself. Has been ever since. He was in the class with Johnny Jaggers and that group when they moved in over here. And he played basketball on the team, but it was a good deal. I enjoyed it.
It really brings this community together.
It sure does.
It's something they've been doing for years and years, and it seems like it gets bigger and better every year. And as you mentioned, a big shout-out goes out to Paulette Gray and Vic and all their family and getting that thing organized. And the community disciples, I believe, are the ones that put on the
Dotson Park Board.
Yes, and they just do an outstanding job. Of course, both of us went out to the wiffle ball tournament, broke records again. I think they raised over $40,500 and to give away to local scholarships to all the area's students here for next year.
Over 20 teams out there.
Over 20 teams and some very good play. I stayed for probably 2 or 3 hours out there. I got to visit with the Hodge family. Of course, Dennis was one of my players when I was at Crittenden County, just an outstanding young man. And Shannon, his wife, of course, she was playing.
Right.
Got to see a lot of former Crittenden County people as well as Caldwell County people. And even they had some teams from Hopkinsville. Some of the people I knew from from over there were playing, and all different age groups. They had young kids playing. They had older kids. Jerry Perkins, had, 75 years old out there playing, and Jerry Peak, your buddy.
Yes, him.
I got to spend quite a bit of time.
Those Fredonia boys are serious about
they
that
were
wiffle
serious.
ball.
Jerry Peak's serious.
Yeah,
You don't play if you're on his team.
Oh, I played with him before. And I mean, ooh, yeah.
And I think congratulations go out to the Caldwell County baseball team. They're the ones that
I think that's right.
that won the
Yeah.
wiffle ball tournament, and it's just a great weekend. And you can't say enough about Ken and Katie Parker.
How about that field and just to open their home up like that and have everybody out?
And then they had the big board in the
Yes.
outfield, and I mean it was just a beautiful weekend. A little warm, but that's what you expect in August. And had great crowds out there, and they raised a lot of money for a great cause.
Yeah, it's hard to believe they do that for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's a long
It is
long
and
time.
the
And I'm
event
sure they
is-
don't sleep much.
No, and it's just growing and growing, and I think they're just going to take it to new heights each and every year.
Well, just to mention a few of the names, because they are the ones that did work the hardest out there, were the umpires. They don't stay out. They're old like we are, and they didn't get off their feet. And I don't mean that too hard, Dono. I know Dono was one of – he's younger. We had him in school.
That's right.
But Dono, and I saw old Boxy out there. He's got his knee fixed now. He couldn't bend down as the behind the plate umpire real good.
Boxy just had a birthday, I saw.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, he and then, of course, Joey East and Bob Hayes. And, of course, the main man of all of them is Fish. Fish Adams.
Fish Adams.
He's the voice of the wiffle ball. But he knows every one of them that play. It doesn't matter what year they play and their nickname. Yeah. And if they don't have one, he gives them one.
Right.
And they all get a kick out of him. But it was a good deal. It really was.
They had a home run derby too, I
Yes,
believe.
I saw that.
They did, but I don't know who.
And I believe Oliver Parker.
Yeah, he won it.
Okay.
Yeah,
He had 7, and the next closest
Of course,
was
he
2.
has a little advantage
Yeah.
out there.
That's home field
And his-
advantage.
That's home field advantage.
And his
out
daddy
there.
was pitching to him. So
Oh yeah, and he was one-handing them out of there, I believe. And,
he was hitting them all the way over.
That's a valid wiffle ball method, though, to kind of do that one-handed swing.
I tell you what, our family came in 2 years ago, and Ken let us come out there and play, and that's not easy using that little skinny bat.
Oh no! You talking about the yellow
Yes.
classic, wiffle ball bat? Yeah,
We grabbed the big Bam Bam bat and got it and hit a few.
Bam
But
Bam bat. But what about the field, boy? It was pristine, wasn't it?
Perfect.
It's like you're stepping on to a major league. I mean, Little Bush Stadium is just like Big Bush Stadium.
It is.
The grass is manicured. I mean, it's beautiful.
it's got the rock out around the
Yeah.
outfield. It's really nice. That's taken years to move on and make
Yeah.
it nice.
I was talking to Chris Hodge and Keith, and when this thing started years ago, she was saying how far it's really come from having a garage sale, a yard sale, community, and a golf tournament. Now they're down to this just one fundraiser, this wiffle ball tournament, and really how much money that they've really, made over the last few years off of it, and the support that they've gotten from all the surrounding communities. It's just outstanding.
And the end result, of course, is when you go to these graduation ceremonies and you get to see Dennis, beaming with pride, going up there and handing out these scholarships to these kids. I mean, that's the most rewarding thing, and he's beaming. I mean, I've seen it at Lyon County and at Caldwell County, and I mean, area, Crittenden County, of course. I mean, it makes a kid's life better, and they do that through that foundation. So it's pretty special.
I don't know much about the scholarship part. Do you? What do they give? Do they give $1,000
think
or
1,000 is-
$500?
They give some below. I think the 1,000 is the top,
Right.
and then they can give lesser amounts. But I know last year I think they did over $30,000 in scholarships last
So
year.
they pretty much give it all away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every year. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't do any money saving or pocketing any to keep for next year.
I don't know the exact details, but I know they did it over around 30,000 last year, and I think that's about what they did on the wiffle ball tournament.
Well, man,
so,
they've got a lot of money for scholarships this time. Then.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
They really do.
So just a fantastic event, organizers, planners, and that foundation, and the folks that participate and make it work.
Well, I do know that back when my son was in high school and he went to college, he was lucky enough to get Henry Smith scholarship,
Yeah.
$500, and Lord, we thought we got $1 million, because anything helps. And
No, it's wonderful.
it makes a big difference.
It certainly does.
And it's just of course, with me over the years working in the guidance and on class night, how much money that, this community gave away in academic scholarships is just amazing.
And these parents, tuition's going up everywhere, books are going up, the cost of just going to school is going up. So every little bit of scholarship money these kids can get is just a big help, to further their education. And just like I said, it's just it's really cool to see that scholarship committee. It's mainly Dennis I've seen show up and get those scholarships out to these kids. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
I know they've been recognized, but Jeff Riley's usually a big worker out there, he and his wife.
Yeah.
They sell food the whole time.
Yeah.
Heather, when I was there, every day I went, they were there, working. So that gives them a shout as well.
And they have a lot of people, that volunteer their time.
A lot of the Crittenden people help them, and we don't know their names,
right.
and I apologize.
And of course, Ken can tell you he's had a lot of help on getting that field ready, and I'm not sure. Adam French, I'm sure, probably helped out. That grass was just
it's beautiful.
Unbelievable.
It was manicured.
It was manicured.
Yeah. Unreal. And the weather turned out perfect.
Perfect. So, it really did.
Yeah.
So,
for both events, Dotson Days and the wiffle ball, it was great.
Right.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot going on, as we mentioned, and of course, I think last night our Caldwell County Middle School football team opened up their season.
County, I saw one score, and I'm have to get this stuff off Facebook or Twitter where I can find it. I saw JV 16-0. I don't know what that meant because I don't think it was the JV. It might be I don't think the JV Tigers played. This was, I think, middle school, but somebody put JV, so I don't know. It was probably the middle school, but that's the way somebody worded it. It was 16-0 Caldwell. So
okay.
But I'm gonna try to clarify that by the noon news and see exactly what the scores are. And if you're out there listening and you know them, if you can get them to me, that'd be great because it's sometimes hard to get that. We just kind of rely on Twitter feeds. And I checked out Todd this morning; he didn't have them. But our volleyball team opened up last night against Marshall County and 3-0 win against Marshall County.
Oh, really? That's a big win, right there.
Yeah. So they're off to a good start. That was out at the Cab. And let's see, we had a couple of soccer scrimmages as well, too. Don't have scores on those either. But boys and girls were away scrimmaging. I think the girls were in Muhlenberg and the boys were, I don't know. I got to look. But.
I don't know about the middle school, but I don't know. Do they have a 7th grade and 8th grade team, you think, this year? But we were counting numbers. What did they have, 30?
I think we count around 34, 35, somewhere.
And I don't know if they had enough for 2 teams or they might just had a JV.
Normally they play an 8th grade
game.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, that's all I saw, and I don't know if they meant it might have been 7th grade or 8th grade. I don't know.
I do know they open up next Thursday night, I believe, here at home against Hopkinsville.
Okay.
They're 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
That'd be their first home game. So there's a lot going on. I know there's sign-ups going for Youth Incorporated.
Yeah, Junior Pro football and cheerleading sign-ups through August the 17th. We have a link on our website. You can look for that, and it's kind of a long kind of a website there, but you can go to our Facebook page as well and get your kids signed up. Coach Ennis, of course, and is doing heading it out, and then Kathy Lewis on the cheerleading. So
I got a couple other real quick. I know you've already recognized Jamie.
We got to do it again.
Jamie Palm. But he's got these donuts sitting here right in front of us. I don't know if I'll be able to stand it, but Jamo, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. And just another quick shout to his daddy. He had knee surgery and then ended up getting infected on him. He had to go back and do it again, and he's still in bed. He's supposed to be up walking around maybe in another 3 days or so. But I talked to him yesterday, and poor old Odie wasn't feeling too well. He was in bad shape. He thought when you go get your knee fixed, it was fixed, but his wasn't. So that, and the one other guy that Kenny and I were doing a driveway on Old Fredonia Road, and we had a guy stop by and talk to us, and he told me he was looking forward to the show. It was Kevin Chambliss, and I want to say hello to Kevin. I appreciate it, Kevin.
All right.
I think he's lying, but I want to thank him anyway.
That's awesome. I did got a text in here from Linda K. Oliver, and we thank you that. She said they called the 7th grade team JV in their school. So, but she's got 7th grade team won 16-0, 8th grade team lost, and she thinks that score was 22-16. So there we go. Thank you Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
And that's how we get some stuff sometimes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so we appreciate that.
Appreciate her listening.
Yeah, we certainly do. And they call the 7th grade team JV down there at the middle school. So that cleared that up for me.
Yes,
I figured
did.
that was probably what that person meant. But anyway, you guys want to take a quick break? And
we'll take a quick break. Before we do that, there's one other guy I want to mention too. Big fans of DT and mine, I guess, Mike Griffith. Griff.
Yeah,
and
Griff.
Griff's, has been having some medical issues, and we want to send a shout out to him and wish him the best. We hadn't been able to get by to see him yet, but we're going to go by and see old Griff, and he's Mr. Caldwell County Tiger now when it comes to athletics.
No doubt about it.
We want to wish him a speedy recovery.
Certainly do. All right, Griff, get well soon, and we'll be back here on Trice Hughes Tiger Sports Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
We're back here at 103.3 FM, The Tiger, for Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. We've got a young man just stepped in and to join us today, Coach David Barnes of the Caldwell County Tigers. Welcome, Coach.
He is young to us. He's not young anymore.
No, I'm not.
Can you believe it's been 9 months since we've talked?
It's flown by. It's I don't know where time goes, but it's flown by.
Mm-hmm. Really has. Coach, I know we're getting ready for our first scrimmage tonight against the Butler County Bears, and I know you're looking forward to the season and all, but man, it sure has. Summer's gone by fast, to put it mildly.
It seems like we got out of school and it's time to roll again. And I know Will Brown's worried about the field tonight, but we got to have a scrimmage, and we're going to scrimmage, Willie.
Let's talk a little bit about the field. Big Will's still in charge of the.
Yeah, and
I noticed the practice field has got some rough areas out in the middle.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Coach Downs, he got out of coaching football, and he's doing all the mowing now, so that's big. It's been a big help.
Oh, that's good.
Frankie Brown, I think he's had some stuff he had to do with his family, and he couldn't do it, and so Bradley took over that.
Well, good. When you have somebody like Bradley that has coached and played, he has an idea of what you want done and how you want it done, so it does help.
Yeah, he's very particular.
It's good.
We had a pretty harsh month of April, especially for Bermuda. And our golf course, we were talking earlier, Dennis, about it, and, our greens, took some winter kill, it looked like there early on, but, man, they're plush right now.
They are.
And I know your football field probably suffered the same effects out there, and I think what had happened, from what I understand, that when it turned warm there in March, that the Bermuda started to grow, and then we had that cold weather in April that kind of made it go dormant again, and that's why we, suffered some winter kill on our Bermuda grasses.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is they're upset possibly with the way the grass looks down there. But that's the way grass looked for us the whole time.
Right.
That's right.
You remember when you played, don't you? You played better. You didn't have any grass.
It's dirt.
Everybody practiced on the field. Everybody band is on the field. It didn't matter. Little League played on that field. Everything.
Yeah.
Grass wasn't a point.
Exactly, and of course the team that you're playing against tonight, Butler County. This scrimmage was originally was scheduled to be at their field, and I think they had some issues with theirs last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they had some skunk issues, some mole issues, and I think they had to play 2 or 3 of their games at the end of the year at other sites.
Right. And
I could see the mole issue. If they had to play on my top yard up there, we'd have a problem.
Todd and I said that I was seeing Uncle Jed and Granny up there take care of that problem.
If you can get a hold of them, let me know their number.
you know, I've turned into a mole hunter myself.
Well, you look like a mole hunter. God almighty. Let's go home, Dave.
Moles have destroyed my grass in my yard.
Evidently, you're not a hunter. You didn't kill them.
I've killed a couple of them. David, tell us tonight. Of course, there's a lot of construction going on at the vocational school. Yeah. And
They're not playing up there.
I know, but people are going to come and want to park.
Oh, that's right.
So what are we going to? I mean, what can you tell us about it?
I don't know about park up top. You know, looked up there the other day, and there's stuff everywhere, and I don't know. I really don't know about park. How it's going to work.
Wonder if can you drive all the way around now? We went over the other day and couldn't even get all the way around. I don't know.
From the vocational school back to the elementary, and
I don't know if Nate's out there listening. If Mr. Huggins, if you're listening, call in to 963-9038 if you got time. We'll put you on the air and you can maybe tell us about that if you're out there. We don't mean to put him on the spot or somebody. If you want to call in and let us know. Or
Jimmy Dyer,
that.
I guess.
Jimmy Dyer
either
could,
one.
But if somebody wants to call in and kind of get it out there, because there's construction going on at our vocational school, as most people know, and I know some people go up there and go, "Where's my spot?" You know, my spot might not be there. They people are habitual; they want us to park in the same spot, but might not be able to happen. And so, if we can get that traffic clarified stuff.
And there's limited room up by the tennis courts. That's normally where I park, is up by the tennis courts on home games, and of course around the field house there's a little parking area around there. But for the ones that are going to be sitting up in the stands, they probably need to know something, or somebody should be out there.
Yeah, the good thing is for the first 2 regular season games, we're at least away, so
right.
that'll help alleviate maybe some of that. But tonight, there's going to be big interest in our scrimmage, so.
But we're lucky enough to have quite a few areas they can park.
That's right.
When you pull up to the tennis courts, you can drive all the way around to the side and park where his dad does, and Sally and everybody else to practice. I think his dad and Sally got something going. I'm not sure.
What about Earl? Give us an update on Earl Hammond.
Earl has not been at practice in a week, so we don't. Excuse me. So we don't know what's going on. I guess he's working.
I bet he shows up tonight.
He'll be there tonight about 4 o'clock. Ready to roll.
We need to get hold of him and see what's going on then.
I think he's been measuring doors or putting in doors. I got a video from Brad showing him working. So.
All right. Well, good. Good deal. He'll be dependable. I'll tell you that. What'll happen to him, but he'll be dependable.
Well, David, DT and I came out to practice one day this week, and we couldn't tell a whole lot about of course, the heat and all. You had to take numerous breaks, and but from what we could tell earlier on, it looks like we got a good kicker.
I think we got 2 good kickers. Obviously you don't know until you get it under fire. But both of those kids have never kicked in a football game. But they both got good legs. Vibrett boy's going to be a freshman, and
Vibrett.
Vibrett. He's going to be a good kicker for us, and the other boy, he's got a really strong leg.
He does. Is he punting some too?
Yeah.
He was tagging that ball.
He was tagging it the other day, and so hopefully it'll be a situation that'll be. We had boys for all those years, and
yes.
And our soccer program has been really good to us on getting us kickers. It hadn't been for them, we wouldn't have had boys.
Right.
Jake Pepper back a few years back, and Brett Seymour, all those kids played soccer and ended up being good kickers for us.
I saw Alan Schaefer out at Walmart the other day. We were checking out together, both of us trying to figure out how to do it there at the end by ourselves. And I asked him, I said, the boy that we've got out there now, I saw him the other day, he's got a very strong leg. And he said, yeah, he said he really hadn't done much of that, but he said, I believe if he learns where to hit the ball, it'll be really good. But I thanked him for letting the kid do that. I said, man, these are kids. They need to participate in as many sports as they can because they'll be old as I am before you know it. And he said, well, I have no problem with it because our days are different than theirs. If he can just be here for a certain day to practice and this and that and other, and that's a good thing.
Is this his first year to participate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But he's a senior, right?
Yes.
He is a senior.
Yeah, he's a strong kid. I tell you what, he kicked that ball.
Coach, I know you don't know a whole lot about your football team right now until the scrimmage tonight, except based on last year and with the scrimmage against Butler County. What are you looking to get out of it tonight, besides anyone not getting injured? That's the key thing.
You know, but you guys have coached a long time, and going into your first scrimmage, you wish you could get film every day on practice, and sometimes that doesn't work. But the biggest thing that I want to see is pursuit on defense. You know, you get out there in practice, they don't sometimes pursue, and that's the biggest thing I want to see is the pursuing on defense, and then offensively. We want to get lined up fast, and we haven't been doing a really good job. We got a lot better at it yesterday, but we want to make sure that that's getting done, and that's something when we get out of scrimmage. And, some of these guys we haven't seen play it, or JV players, how are they going to react when they get into a varsity situation? So, you look on the defensive side, I think we're going to be okay. We lost some pretty good players. We lost 4 really good defensive players, and Cole Baker, Hunter Van
Most of your linebackers.
Dylan Gray, and Will Bashir. So, and then in that case, we got 2 brothers going to fill those 2 spots. So hopefully, I think they're going to do a good job. That's take Van Hooser and Russ Bashir. And in the D-line part, probably one of the most unrecognized defensive players in our area last year was Cole Baker.
Yep.
And when we played
an
all-star game up in Louisville in December, those guys at first said, "Man, this kid can play," and that's.
He's a big old boy too.
Yeah,
solid. I stood beside him after the Union County game, I think last year, and somebody introduced me to him. He's a man.
Yeah. The other thing is tackling. You work tackling in practice, and you try to form tackling. You don't get a lot of live tackling done. You don't want to get anybody hurt and take people to the ground. So, tackling and getting people to the football is going to be big for me on defense tonight.
Let me ask one question here. We were gone when we were out there watching your scrimmage. I told Pat, I said, what do you think would happen in our scrimmage? Of course, back when we scrimmaged in those days, we ran a different offense. And our key was if a kid ran a play and fumbled or whatever, we'd kind of get him over there and we'd talk about this and this and this, and then we'd huddle up. And now is your all's key mainly to run as many as you can? I mean, even if they don't work, I'm not being smart.
Playing fast.
I'm just, I don't, because I know when we had them, we spent 40% of the time in the huddle trying to tell them what we want them to do.
There's a couple of things that are different for me coaching than when I played in high school. The thing I always hated as a football player was that morning practice, going out there and stretching and laying in the grass and getting wet.
Yeah.
We don't stretch. And, you worked camps up with Coach Mummy, and that's where I first heard about it. How do you do that? Well, I've been doing it for a long time. So we don't stretch. We do drills. We'll get warmed up. And the other thing is playing fast. And the thing that we're going to try to do there is one, if we get lined up, the defense doesn't know when we can snap the ball fast. We can snap it with just very few time on the clock. So it allows us to be able to play a different tempo. And that's, Tony Franklin is the one that kind of taught me that deal. And, a lot of football teams are now going to that. And I just feel like, the fast a lot of times, you're going to keep people uncovered. So you get a good shot there. And you're right, you're going to call plays fast, and some of them will work, some of them aren't. But The other thing we like to throw a lot of screens, and especially early to get those defensive linemen to run, especially if they're playing two-way. First thing I look at is how many they got going both ways, and if they got a bunch of kids going both ways, we want to make sure we're making those D linemen run, but they're going to have to get out there and cover those screens.
Well, and even the deep backs, if they're going both ways, I tell you what, when you follow a receiver all the way down the field and then you have to turn around and run a pass route, you're not as, especially early in the season.
Right.
It's going to be hard on you.
You know, David, DT and I have been out a long time of coaching, and a lot of things have changed. And of course, a lot of the changes have been through the Kentucky High School Athletic Association. And, I don't think teams are any longer allowed to have camp. Aren't they limited on the practice time per day now? And I know on scrimmages, of course, this year I see where a lot of schools were allowed more than one scrimmage, and it's been one scrimmage for the last several years. What's your thoughts on that?
On the scrimmage thing, if you play week 0, which this next week when we play Christian, that's week 0. If you play week 0, that only gives you one scrimmage. Well, they changed that rule where you could go 2 if you wanted to, which meant if you look at, you got to have 3 days of contact practice full gear before you can get that scrimmage against another team. So last week, that third day was on Friday. So if you were going to scrimmage last week, it had to be on Saturday, or you did like Crittenden County did, and you scrimmage Monday, and you turn around and they were going to scrimmage again tonight. I just didn't want to. To me, I thought we could get more done, and you couldn't go full. If you went against somebody on Friday, you couldn't have contact. So what was the need of doing that? Mm-hmm. And then I didn't want to go on Saturday, and definitely didn't want to go on Monday, and then turn around and go back on Friday. That changed this year, and then on the 2 days like we used to do when we played and when we coached, and we sometimes had 3 days. Mm. You can't have multiple contact practices back to back. So if we had contact today, we couldn't have a contact practice, another one in that same day or the next day. So those are some things that's just like the college rule.
Yeah. Well, I know there's been, numerous rule changes over the years. And are there any evident rule changes this season in high school football?
I got with Jay Davis because last year Jay came out and talked to our kids about some of the stuff on blocking. And did a really good job for us doing that. And I asked him if he wanted to come back. He said, really, there's no changes this year that are that big of a deal. I think in the future, the Julian has said and has talked about the time with the 25-second clocks. And they're going to be doing something about that, a real change on that.
And I did hear on the radio the other day, someone was talking on WHOP, I believe it was, an official said, one of the changes that are looking at this year is making sure everyone is properly equipped, that their knees have to be covered, and that, they have to wear their butt pads and their hip pads, and, that is something that is a point of emphasis this coming season for most of
That's another thing, kids watching college football.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of those guys were doing it. That's why our guys do it.
They wear shorts. Well, sure.
I'll have to fight that tonight when we go out on the field.
I just don't understand. If I were a college coach, a head coach, and my player that I was given a 4-year full scholarship to came out there with no knee pads on, I'd give that scholarship to somebody else because I don't want him to get hurt on the first play. I mean, I just don't understand. And they do that because they think it makes them faster. But it just feels faster. It's like AstroTurf back when we played on grass. You get on that turf and you thought, man, I'm fast. But you're not. Yeah. But anyway, the other part is I wonder why they don't wear a small basketball knee pad. Instead of having it on your pants where they do pull up, put it on there to where it, and it looked like to me it would be.
Looked like they got shorts on.
Yeah, much more comfortable. I don't understand. I don't know. None of my business.
And
I know I wanted all the pads I could get.
And thigh pads, they don't wear. A lot of them are not even wearing thigh pads, And
we wore butt pads. They stuck out, looked like you had a hammer down in your pants or something. You run around. But I tell you what, when they throw you down, you hit on it. It felt a lot better than when you didn't.
Exactly. And now they make a girdle that is set. That is, it's got 7 pads in it. And it's got the knee pads, the hip pads, the thigh pads.
So really, that's just.
I put a plug in for myself. I sell those girdles.
I'll go ahead and say by Rydell.
you know, they got 7 padded girdles, and all they have to do is pull their game pants over the girdle now. So a lot of game pants aren't made with, you know, pockets to put the pads in.
Wonder why they don't make, here's something you can put your company on. Wonder why they do not make a girdle a pant.
Yeah.
Why would you want to cover them up with something else to make it heavier?
You know, I think this day and time, a lot of teams, all they do is go out in shells anymore with the girdles and the shoulder pads and the helmets. And, of course, they're limited on the contact and the hitting. And, of course, now the way the rules are interpreted, that they're taking the head out of the game. I mean, you're not even – there shouldn't be very many face masks roughed up anymore because you're not even supposed to be hitting with your face in terms of the rules. So a lot of changes have transpired over the years, and of course the equipment is even made better than it's ever been made. And you know, it's just amazing that, you know, these kids, they see these college players and these professionals out there and think high school can do the same thing.
I bet old Arch thinks the same. I was going to ask Chris Cochran too when we talked to him. How would he feel being a lineman now? Old Arch, he wouldn't know how to stand it without Giordano kicking him in his hind end, putting him on the ground.
Coach Sykes.
Yeah, Coach Sykes.
And you know, another thing you don't see, Dennis, neck rolls. You ever see anybody wear a neck roll anymore? And you know, I thought they looked cool, but they cut off your breathing. You know, you get them tight sometimes, and arm pads. You don't see the full length arm pads anymore. The hand pads.
No, and back in the day, you know, those NFL guys. I mean, and I'm sure probably when you guys played, man, those pads were. Man, they were swinging at you. You know, with
that's
those,
the way they
those
taught
forearms.
You. The first move was up to hit somebody.
Yeah, just
and
get right
my first move was to get out of the way.
And you know, a lot of times we had to tape our pads in place because they fall down, and now kids don't even want to wear pads. So times have really changed. Coach, let's talk a little bit about our schedule this year. It's basically the same schedule. It is the same schedule as last year, except the home and away has swapped. And we open up on the road 2 weeks in a row. We go to Christian County next week. And by the way, the game time has been changed from 8:30 till 5:30, our time now. So we open with Christian, then we go to Graves County, and until August 31st, we don't come home, and that's our first home games against Hopkinsville High School.
Sound like a pretty weak schedule.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is the same schedule as last year, and you know, those first 5 games are non-district games, and those are games that are, you know, we want to use to get ready for those district games that come up in the latter part of the season. You know, open up with Christian County. You know, Coach Lois, we've been playing each other for a number of years now, and that's a good game for us. We were able to pick up Hoptown last year. Caldwell used to play them every year. That's another good pickup on our schedule, I think, and a very competitive game. And Graves County, I did have them on the schedule for next year, but when they redid everything, they added another. Brett County, for some reason, came into their district. Lotus is sitting over here at Christian County, and they put him up over Bowling Green and South Warren. And it took Brett County and put them down here with Graves. That doesn't make sense.
Didn't make a lot of sense, did it, geographically?
So I think that put them a 16 district. Well, then that made Lance had to call, and they had to cancel our game for next year. So we're sitting at week 2 next year without a game right now. But, you know, we go to Graves County, and then we come back and we play Hoptown, and we come back and we got Crittenden and then Henderson. And in those 2 weeks there, we're going to have our Hall of Fame game and also recognizing the 98 state championship team that both you guys were involved in. So I think Coach Gates has already gotten a hold of all those guys that are on that 98 team, and we're really looking forward to that night.
I'll show up, but I wasn't coaching that year. I hung it up a year or so before. I don't want to black cat them. They won because I got out. That was a good deal.
Well,
I sat up top with Neil and a few of them, and Chris Cook. Some of them tried to keep Neil from jumping out of the thing. So that's really about all I did. Gator took care of it. He did a great job that year. I tell you what, those boys did a fine job for no more numbers than we had.
Well, we were blessed. And, you know, we had like 3 years in a row there, 96, 97, 98, all 3 very good football teams and very good classes. And I've said this on numerous occasions, I'm not sure the 96 team, we we were really loaded that year, and we
Yeah,
got
we
beat
were.
the second round of the playoffs by Edmonson County, and
Brandon-
you got to have a lot of luck.
Brandon
And,
still talks about that.
yeah, Ricky Wood come over here
Yeah.
from Edmonson County and beat us, I think 16-0 or 7 or something like that, and then the next year we go to Owensboro Catholic and get beat, and of course they go on to the finals, I believe, and.
Yeah. That was Mojo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Mojo Hollowell. Yeah, sure was.
Belly jump pad.
Belly jump. Yeah. But it's another challenging schedule, and we just wish you the best of luck, and we want to keep everyone healthy. That's
key.
That's the key, and you got a great group of seniors. I noticed in the paper. How many is there? Over 20, isn't it?
20 seniors, yeah.
20 seniors.
And then you go to our junior class, we got 6. So
It just happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got an outstanding senior group, and I know that leadership is really going to be needed out there on the field, and you as coaches only can do so much, on the sideline over there, but you've got some very capable young men out there, and we're really looking forward to this season.
I remember the Catholic game when we lost the week before. My main man Willie Brown and I went down there and scouted, and we almost didn't get there in time because we went by the barbecue place first.
I think y'all done that a few times to me. Didn't get back with the film.
That's right. That was Richie. That wasn't me. Richie did that one.
Yeah, there are some old stories we could tell
Yeah.
back in the day when we had to swap film. Of course, this day, that's another thing that's changed. There's no film swapping anymore. You can go right online. I guess all the coaches can get it offline. You don't have to meet on Saturdays or Sundays and swap films with your opponent. And, there's just been a ton of changes over the years.
The film exchange, coaching-wise, the best thing. You get up on Saturday morning and have to drive to get film. Or
Man.
Then you could cry in your milk, to each coach.
And the way it's set up now, you get in the playoffs and you get week, say the regional playoff game, you got 13 games on. I mean, you get all the film you want, so that's big.
That's very good because I know when we used to try to go pick up film every now and then, they'd give you one and it wouldn't be any good because they didn't want you to see them. They thought you might have to play them later.
And then you go back to when you had the 16 millimeter and you had to wait and pick up film late at night. They send
Come
it
in on the bus or something.
Yeah, I can remember when I was at Allen County, Royce Hood, who was the head coach, my job was to take the film after the game to the bus stop there in Bowling Green, and then go back on Sunday and pick it up off the bus. So, times have changed.
Yep, sure have.
Hey,
Moving on.
Coach had a question. Anybody selling concessions tonight at the scrimmage? Do we know?
The band contacted me about that, and he didn't say. I know they've been up there cleaning it up, so
Okay.
I
Don't know for sure.
Don't know for sure.
Okay. Don't know for sure, but maybe we'll try to find something out later on. So listen on a future newscast this afternoon. Maybe we'll try to have that information for you.
And I believe I heard yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this scrimmage is going to be conducted like a game.
Yeah, they had a coaching change at Butler County. Ryan Emick had been there for a number of years, and the guy, Coach Emery, has been there as assistant, and he said he'd rather do like more game-like situations. Normally we go on 10-10, and he'd rather go more game-like. So that's what we're going to do.
Where you have kicking and kickoffs.
If we do the kickoff stuff, it'll be just go through it. We're not going to go live on it.
About how long will the scrimmage last? We're going to probably be out there tonight
I'd say
and do a
about
trial run.
a
couple
no
hours.
more than 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to try to air that tonight, folks. So we're going to go out there and do a little trial run before the Christian County game. So we're going to stream the scrimmage tonight and have it on the air. I think Bob and Dennis are going to mic up. So we have, we won't have numbers and anything, but we'll just try to call plays out and who's doing it when we can. So.
And you will be streaming the game next week?
Yeah, the away games we will be live streaming. The home games this year we will record and upload.
Tape delayed?
Yeah. That's the plan at this point.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got a couple things. I want to say something about my coaching staff. And, you guys were together for a long time, and people don't understand how important that is to have a staff that's, when I came here in 06, I pretty much still got the same staff with, Coach McClung, Coach McGowan, who worked with you guys, and, Coach Stallings, who got out last year, and Coach Riley. I still have those guys, and then we've added coaches, and in addition to coaches, they played for us. Jake Pepper played for us, and he works here at the bank, but he comes out and works with our guys, and then Will Barnes came back last year and was in the program here, and this year we got Drake Van Hoosier who's going to come back and help us. So that's been a big deal for us. Is everybody's on the same page and understands what's going on, and that's very important.
Yeah, and we also saw your middle school coaches down there, and those are all guys that we coached.
Yeah, Steve
Cook-Eco, and of course Walls. He wasn't here, but Brad Harrelson played for us, and so John
H. Stevens.
And those are guys that, like you say, if you keep them in the program, they keep things moving. That was great. And we want to say we appreciate those middle school guys. I know there's not very many of them getting paid. I don't think they pay too many assistants in a middle school, but everybody down there, it's appreciative. I know you appreciate it.
They do a great job, and they opened up last night. I didn't hear what the score was. They opened up.
We got them. We told them a while ago.
Yeah, looks like they call the 7th grade JV. They won 16-0. The 8th grade team lost, and they think the score 22-16. So looks like some good showing.
And who was that they played?
The Union County.
Union. Well, that's a pretty good deal. And you go over there and play them.
And then the youth camp they had last. I heard you guys were talking about that earlier on the radio show. Those guys do a great job of that. They had 38 to 40 kids up there involved in that. That's really big.
And one of the guys that runs it didn't even play football for us.
Jason Wilson.
He didn't even play football. Now he's in Louisville, and he's come down and takes care of that. He and Alan Waddington every year. And, of course, Carl Copeland helped, and they had Cody McGregor out there and T-Bone, Big Trevor Burke. He was there. I tell you what,
and you mentioned the coaches, even on our youth level. Yes. Cray Lewis, I think, is running the football end of it out there. Chris Ennis is. I think he texted me sometime back how many years 15 or more years that he's been involved. So it's always good to see that some of your former players going through the program here is taking the reins, which they don't get anything out of. They're doing it because of the love of the game and loving kids. And it gives opportunity for them to go out and share what they've learned over the years and to carry the tradition on.
These teams that are schools that lose coaches quite often, mainly it's because of their assistant coaches, because they are all putting that knife in their back and they can't stay there and they're wanting a job and they talk to people and that's what happens. And here, for over the years so far, we haven't really had that.
I think, if you look, Coach Giordano was my head coach. Coach Clayton was your head coach. And Coach Clayton goes to Christian. Coach G takes over.
Coach Clayton was my head coach in Christian County.
Coach Gates comes in and takes over for Coach G. So there have been a lot of changes made. And that's what's great about this football program in this community.
And you were offered this job earlier, but you couldn't come. So, it might have been even a different thing, which – I shouldn't have even brought that up, I guess, but this was a long time ago.
Well, I'm just glad it happened. It worked out, and if Pat hadn't come back and took over that one year, it may not have happened.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was a good man to do that. That's pretty tough once you leave something to go back and you're thinking, what am I going to do now? You got to do it. But
he didn't take me long.
He did a good job. Took him 1 year to know that he told Carol or somebody to go find you or somebody.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a great run, and, you just got so many fond memories. And in this community, that's what it's all about. This community embraces you, and we were talking earlier about outsiders coming in and how fortunate I was to know you and Randy Dura and Carol Bo. A lot of these guys, Larry Curlin, we developed relationships over the years, and to be able to come into a community that really didn't know who I was. I mean, I wasn't too far away, but, grew up too far away. But
and most people from Hoptown that came here, they didn't like.
Exactly. Most of it was bad back in the day.
Yeah.
But I was just very fortunate. And, this is home now. Even though I was born in another town, this is This
You
is
got
on.
your daughter moved back and got
Yeah, I
a job
do.
out here. And the only one that's gone is your son-in-law that coaches.
Yeah. And they'll be gone forever, I guess, depending on how long he stays.
Can't have
there.
everything.
Yeah.
I want to mention one other thing. Week 6 opens up our district with Paducah Tillman, and just want to say something about Coach Steve Duncan that had a health situation and had to get out of football, and I just want him to know that our thoughts and prayers are with him, and he's a great man and a great football coach.
He really is.
Evidently a real good football coach, because last year, I'd say if he'd have been here this year, they would have been really tough for sure. Now, I don't know about now, but
They got a lot back.
They
do
got a
have
lot
them
back, and-
But the leadership position means a whole lot.
And from what I understand, they gave it to one of his assistants as an interim basis.
Is that right?
Yes,
Right,
and
correct.
that's been around him for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. And Steve Duncan is an outstanding Christian man, and he's gone through some health issues just like I did, and you got to take care of yourself. And I know it was hard for him to step away, but he knows that it's for the best. Coach, one other question I got. Of course, I've been asked on numerous occasions about football in general and about the numbers in all the programs nationwide. Do you see it declining any?
Our numbers are still pretty good. I think it's just from school to school. But I guess if you look at it over the nation, the numbers have dropped according to statistics, and I think a lot of that has to do with the concussion thing that's out there, and parents concerned about that, which obviously is a concern. And I'd say, but for us around here, our numbers are still pretty good.
I noticed one school in the state of Kentucky has dropped football.
Yeah,
Trimble, who was the county?
it's up in the mountains.
Trimble County, and that puts the opponents who are on their schedule, behind the 8 ball there, really, and it's tough getting the game this late to get 10 games in, and I think from the lack of participation, they only had 13 kids out from what I read, and I believe it was Trimble County, but I'm not
I
for
told
sure.
Stuffy at Danville one year he won a state championship with 18.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Coach Duffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, next week we play Christian. You having Lowe's come in next week?
Well,
We're going to try
we're
not
going.
to.
Lovelace probably would not turn down an opportunity to come down here to heckle DT and I.
If he he has to get out of bed. I don't
He
know.
better not heckle us too hard. We got some skeleton in his closet that we didn't want us to bring out. Let me tell you.
And I understand, we hope to get him down here, so I want to, be able to ask him some of the questions that they're being faced with on recruiting. And, I know he's lost a couple of his, better players to the team across town, and one of his best buddies there in Hopkinsville. So
Was
I think,
his best buddy.
yeah. Of course, he coached for him for
Yeah.
10 or 11 years there, and
Well, most of head staff coached for him.
he did.
For Craig. He
Sure
just
did.
brought 'em
John
all
Falk,
over.
yes. And, so we hope to have Coach Lovelace here next week. And, the college season is just right around the corner. We got several kids from Caldwell County getting ready to open up the college season here in a couple of weeks. And
Yeah, Elijah was named captain at Purdue.
Was it?
But
Great
the
honor.
other quarterback was too. So
Both of them.
both
Wow.
of them, yeah.
They really think a lot of both of them kids, evidently. That's tough in a locker room.
But yeah, there could be worse problems to have, though.
You
But
know,
still, that's
Yeah,
tough.
But
That's
in
a
a
tough
locker
thing.
room, I'm gonna guarantee. I've been around all that before, and it's hard to like. Too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
yeah.
seriously, because you're gonna have just like school teachers or anybody else, and they get in trouble. They run down the hall and try to get as many on their side as they can, and somebody does this.
No,
know.
I would see that'd be a
So
problem.
evidently they got two good fellas right there.
Yeah.
I got one more shout real quick. I saw a fella at Dotson Days and told me to tell you hello. One of our favorite crackback men of all time.
Goat Copeland.
Goat Copeland. I'm going to tell you what, I don't believe he could play today.
He was the best I've ever
Weighed
seen.
what
at the
he weigh,
crackback.
120 pounds?
Maybe 6 foot. What, 2?
He was
maybe?
the only receiver that he could catch a football like anything, like his daddy. But he was the only receiver that would come to you on the sideline and say, "Run a crackback sweep."
Run quick pitch.
He loved
Bang.
to tear that guy up.
And he went for the head.
Oh,
He'd
tore
be
him up.
ejected now, I guess.
Oh, yeah, he'd be out.
Yeah,
But
old Byron.
he's a minister over there.
Yes.
Hoptown. But he said tell you hello. He's
Fine young
he's
man.
a great person.
He really is. Hey, give us a quick update on D. Kane. I know D's at Western. He's had some injury issues with that knee. Have you heard anything on that, David?
He talked to Kim Farmer last week, and he said he's still having some issues with it, but he was going to go through practice and thought everything's going to work out.
Good
Hope
deal.
it does.
Well, we want to wish him the best of luck in his return, and hopefully turning our alma mater around. The Toppers, they'll be opening here before too long. So,
Elijah, he opens up on the 30th, which is a Thursday night on ESPN.
yes.
So hopefully he'll be the starter.
And I think it's against Northwestern, a conference.
Yes,
it is
it is.
coming, yeah.
So,
They're usually pretty good.
yeah. A lot going on.
And we got a picnic. Mr. and Miss Engelbright last year had a picnic for our team, and this year we're having it on this Sunday. And Brian Jaggers and Brad Harrelson are going to get it going, but we're using Johnny Jaggers' place, and Johnny's going to let us all come out there. So we appreciate that. And
That's a
it
nice
was a great
place.
time
Yeah.
last year, so
Really
we look
nice.
forward to that.
That's a good time for the team to good bonding time with
Yeah.
families, and it's fun.
You know, one thing DT and I were talking about this community when we had camps, of all the people who fed us. I mean,
Amazing.
oh, how we missed Druthers. And,
Oh man, yeah.
Two cards.
and how Will Brown misses Druthers. And going picking up the chicken boxes, and we're ready to eat, and he's not back.
Coach G, on Thursday we'd always practice, at night under the lights, and he'd say, "You Fredonia boys, when we eat, I'm gonna buy you a chicken dinner tonight." You hand you a little chicken dinner box.
That's great.
Yeah, we Gates and every, he would usually send Willie or one of the other coaches to go get the food from Druthers. All them boxes, they'd have a chicken boxes with slaw and all. I mean, it was a meal. I don't know how we made it to the second
Oh,
grade.
I love that
He
coleslaw.
ate everything. And I went with Willie one day, and we came down here, and we got him pulled in over here and got all the boxes, and all of a sudden he crossed them railroad tracks. I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "We're going to go down Old Fredonia Road and go back home that way." Well, we pulled in under that bridge over there. He was wearing one of them boxes out. I said, "What are you talking about, boy? Get that food back to these players. They won't miss it."
All the great times, and dynamite, and all those pizzas, and man,
I
after
know
we
it.
eat those, we didn't want to go back out for practice in the
Exactly.
afternoon.
When I was at the middle school too, and tried to run the athletic director part of it for basketball and all that, it wasn't like it is now. But he would donate pizzas in the hospitality lounge, for the
Right.
tournaments we'd have and stuff. So, those are things that people don't have to do.
Exactly, and we're so thankful that this community is so generous, and and they love athletics, but they also love football.
Yes.
And we're right here,
That's
ready for another exciting season.
Well, I love athletics. I played every sport I could
Oh,
play.
yeah.
Of course, we didn't have that many back then.
Right.
But
Talking about supporting our athletic program, Dan Hughes and Trice Hughes at Chevrolet, and Dan, is going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. And I didn't know he was doing this, but he came out and did a heck of a job at our in-service on Tuesday on safety, or first aid. And that's the best presentation I've ever seen on how to take care of wounds and how
Putting tourniquets.
Putting tourniquets. And I didn't know he was doing that, but he did a nice job for us, and I appreciate that.
Taylor was telling me, of course, she was in that training, and she
He-
come and told
he
me,
did a
she
great
said, "Dad,
job.
I didn't know Dan knew so much about."
I didn't either.
But yeah, he's a great addition, and we got a great class coming in.
We do.
In the Hall of Fame, and we'll tell you too, there was a lot of others right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
We've got enough.
And you guys are going to line those guys up to come in like you did last year, aren't you?
We
Yeah.
sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to Chris Cochran already,
Yeah.
and we'll start having those guys. 3 weeks away or 4? And
September the
14th.
14th, yeah.
we'll start, lining those guys up, and we got a good mixture.
That's against Crittenden, right?
I believe so.
I believe, yeah, I got the schedule pulled up here, right here. And
Yeah, it's Crittenden County.
Crittenden County, yeah.
And that'd be a good game too.
No, this says Henderson County. I'm sorry. Crittenden is the 7th. Is that right?
No, Henderson County is the 98 team, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, so Crittenden County's the 7th. Yep.
Yeah. Crittenden County's the...
Todd and I both struggle with that one. He had it in the paper, and we keep saying we keep reversing it. So yeah.
And, you know, that's a team that I keep hearing that's going to be a much improved football team that's coming back as Crittenden County.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
one of our second home game, I guess. We got a stretch of 3 home games in a row, Hoptown, Crittenden County, and Henderson County.
Yep.
So we just got a great schedule. I mean, a very competitive, tough schedule. You got Class 6A schools, 5A schools, 4A schools, as well as 3A, which we're in for the last season. We're going back to 2A. So it's the makings of an exciting season.
Very much so. Looking forward to it.
Coach, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank y'all.
Dennis,
And,
we'll
one
throw
other thing.
together something else
If
next
y'all,
year.
if y'all are out there sitting on the hill, you're more than welcome to come down and coach.
Well,
Yeah,
it
right.
felt so good sitting in that air conditioning.
He wouldn't let me turn the car off. No, we pulled up there in Janie's car. We were incognito. We didn't want you to know we was there.
And
We're
and
gonna
you
talk
know,
bad about you one of these days.
and that's another thing. Back when we coached, we had very few people watch practice.
No.
Very few.
My dad hadn't missed too many since '06.
Yeah, your dad's there. Philip Phelps is there, I guess, every day. Billy Baker.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, we saw a lot of Ben.
Joe Van Hoosier.
Yeah, we saw a lot out there. And
Back in the day when you and I played, though, we practiced down here at this old field. Didn't you practice down there or not? You out here? You're not that old. I'm sorry.
No, we practiced at Butler.
When I first moved back here, Coach G, we all practiced down here. All the parents that came would come and sit in that one corner, and they would talk. You could hear them over there. What are they doing that for?
Yeah, we practiced at Butler, and then I think my sophomore year was the year we moved to the stadium. That was the first year at the stadium. But we had camp out there at the stadium before the stadium was built, and you know the mamas cooked up there in the cafeteria. They cooked lunch for us, and we put Christian County come in for a scrimmage.
I was there. I played then.
And I never will forget what Coach Stevens he make us run a hill. You know, that's before the stadium rocks. So when we went up to eat lunch that day, and those kids from Christian County said, "We had to run that hill. We wouldn't play."
Well, the one year Reeland coach made theirs run over at halftime. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Kicking them
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
He put them on that hill at halftime.
Joe Lewis, I
Yeah.
believe, was the coach. Yeah, sure was.
There's one story over there real quick down at the Butler building. When I first started coaching with Giordano, they were sitting over in the stands, and you could kind of hear them mumbling around, what are they going to do today? What are they going to do today? And the coach got us all over there on the side, and he said, all right, boys, y'all take a lap. And then he said, well, I think of something to do.
Kind of like we did this show today.
That's right.
We just threw it
We
together.
need to take a lap so we can think of what to talk about.
Yeah. Coach Clayton, of course, he'd always send us to the community college and back. Oh, yeah, we had to run from the practice field there to the community college and back. And
Did any of them ever go on home?
I walked about halfway. Some of them were trying to hide. But, I guess that's where Coach G got that from.
It might have been.
Yeah.
It might have been.
They were trying to think of a lot to do.
Yeah. Back in those days, though, you didn't have a practice schedule. You
No.
know, when I went to college, they had that thing all lined up. Minute blew a whistle, and everybody went here and there. I was wore out. I mean, I thought, what is going on? I've never seen that happen because what we did was just get out here and offense and defense and scrimmage the whole time.
And we always want to know when the water breaks
Yeah.
were. That was the main thing.
Well, wait a second. I didn't think they gave y'all water.
They did. They gave you a salt bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salt, hand them out as you went
Yeah,
out the
give you
door.
a salt bill.
Then they made the coated salt tablets. You ever had the coated one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, take a handful of those salt tablets.
Yeah.
And they didn't help you until about 4 or 5 days later. They just found that out now. But, well, guys, we've had another great
it's been
time
fun,
here.
yeah.
And we went over, too.
That's okay. It's okay.
We went over, and we was worried about having enough to fill it.
We can stay another 45 minutes if y'all
Oh,
want to.
no.
We run out of donuts.
That's right. Thanks to Jamie for those,
That's
by the
right.
way. Jamie Palm dropped those off.
That's an ex-football player. He was a good punter. Had a big, strong
Yes,
leg.
he did. Yes, he did. Jamie, he was a good player for us. And you mentioned Odie. You know, we want to wish him
Yeah.
a speedy recovery, too. And all those people out there we didn't mention,
We'll get you next week.
We'll get you next week. Just say something to us. And as Ty said, we've got a text line here.
Yep.
And if there's anything you want to ask
Yep.
us, as long as it's clean.
This is
That's it.
963-9038.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those texts
If
we've
you
had a
want
few
to text
today.
something nasty, send that on that one. If you want to talk to me, just send it to my phone. It's nice.
And we plan on being here for the next several weeks,
I hope so.
and at least 14 or 15 weeks, and ever how long it takes us to get to that.
I went down on the field. Excuse me, guys. I
Go
went
ahead.
down on the field the other day, David. When you all were there, I think you saw me, but anyway, I was down there. Earl and I and Will were over there while Will was calling some plays, and I heard him holler over there one time. He said, "I'm sorry, that's my fault. Bad call, bad call." And I went over there, and Earl was going, "Bad call, bad call." And I said, "Earl, you remember when I coached here?" And he said, "Yeah, I do, DT, I remember." And he said, I said, "Did you ever hear me say I called a bad play?" He said, "No, you never did. You never did." So I told Will, I said, "Will, you heard him. It wasn't ever my fault."
Oh, I know Earl's looking forward to it, and Sally, looking forward to these Friday night games. We want to encourage everyone to come out tonight
Yeah, come on, check it out.
at 6 p.m. To see the preseason scrimmage against the Butler County Bears, 6 p.m., Tiger Stadium.
Yep.
D,
Nope.
enjoyed it.
I did too. Thank
Ty?
you all.
Thank you.
Ty,
Loved
thank
it.
you,
Coach
brother.
Barnes, thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you again next week at 8 a.m. on the Trice Hughes Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT.
Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the